Yes.
It basically went Does that sound like
Yes, she
her?
does. Yeah.
Ian, David, and Quinn started out to make a $50 million movie based on Ian's book, TJ's War. Mark, Sia, and Sincera soon jumped on board, and then Mr. Z joined the team, a mysterious executive producer who said, "Stop, this is no movie. This is a 2-season, 20-episode TV show. So follow us, join us as we create TJ's War, the $50 million TV series."
My mentor was Andrew Lloyd Webber's Martin Levan. Martin Levan. He took theater sound to a different level. And what he first did was he took the speakers out of their boxes. And for Phantom of the Opera, I was on tour with Liza Minnelli, and the sound company says, "You got to see what this guy's doing with Phantom. We're gonna get you in." So I went in and I go, "Wow, this sounds so different." And when I looked, there were no speaker boxes. There were just 40 speakers hung just in the air. And what it did was it gave it this whole open new sound. And that's where I still am when I'm even mixing. He makes the box disappear. And guess what? And a good speaker, and I'm saying this for the manufacturers, there are great speakers out there where the speaker box disappears and you're just hearing the sound, you know? And as an engineer, that's what I try to do. And when you EQ, I try to EQ anything that any box harmonic that's happening, or reflection off the wall. So there's ways of doing it. So now getting back to digital, with digital also, there's a lot of digital programs where you can actually clean up the sound in the room and make it more pure. That we didn't have during analog. You only had your ear, which I kind of love because when you're doing the digital testing, I hear what the computers hear. I go, yeah, I hear that reflection. That's ugly because that's the way I learned. I had to learn, from my friends that from the Sinatra company taught me how to hear anomalies in sound that you would move the speakers or do whatever to get rid of. What's great in the digital world is you can actually reprogram the way the sound comes out of the speaker. You can direct and get rid of all the reflections, all the ugliness, make it as pure as possible.
Are you available to do the sound for TJ's War? Anyway, go ahead, Ian.
I was going to. Is there an element of one of the things that we want to get across in this TV series is authenticity?
Yes.
There are far too many war films and everything else out there where it looks heroic at some level, and it really isn't. And so I'm just thinking where you're taking stuff out of the sound that you're making. Can that have the impact of suggesting inauthenticity?
By taking some things out.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think it's bad to have it authentic, to hear a tank authentically rolling, and
I think what Ian's saying,
yeah,
like,
maybe I'm
there's
not understanding.
well, we all know the famous first 20 minutes of Saving Private Ryan, and there are these moments when they're storming the beach, and there's you hear the war, and then you also, like, he goes underwater, and then
I was just gonna say that.
and then
What
it's
does that do?
quiet.
That blew
Right.
my mind.
I mean, I'm
Right?
goosebumps
Is that
even
what you're
talking
thinking,
about it.
Ian?
Talk about the power of silence in storytelling. How do you know when to let the visuals breathe without the sound?
Very good. Well, now when we get to war movies, think about Kubrick in Full Metal Jacket when he's in the bathroom. I just think he's brilliant with the
Wow,
visual without sound. That's just like amazing. Like, wow. But I mean, the underwater. What got me about the underwater was the bullets whizzing through the water.
Yeah.
Wasn't that was
That's the realism I think Ian's talking about. Like,
that's
you
the
almost
real. That
feel
was
like you're there. Yeah.
yes. That's the realism. That's not. Yeah, much different. That which is amazing, and that's needed. I think you need that.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I
Sometimes
like.
Scorsese
Yeah.
talked. I can't remember interview where I saw it, but he was talking about sound editing once, and he was working with his sound editor, and they were trying these different background tracks. Again, this is another thing I don't know enough about to talk about, but I just remember Scorsese talking about it, and then the sound editor suggested, "How about if we just take out the sound? We just," and it may have been the movie. He has a movie called Silence. It's a lesser known Scorsese flick where these it's like set in the 17th century. These Portuguese missionaries go to Japan, and
Mhm.
there are these like long moments of silence in the movie, and they're gripping. You know,
Yes,
it grabs you because it's that tension, I guess, the tension of
yes.
silence.
A very dear friend. He was just up for last year. His first. He's been up like 4 times for his He's location sound man for Scorsese's all Scorsese stuff, and he was up for the Bob Dylan movie. Did you see that?
Oh yes, did
Bob
the
Dylan movie was brilliant.
Mm.
I couldn't
That
believe
kid,
that chap sang all the songs himself, because I could have sworn it was Bob Dylan singing them. It was fantastic.
Wasn't that
and with Todd Bateman told me
Timothy?
his
What's his
Timothy.
name?
Oh God,
It's not Charlemagne.
Char-
It's something like that, though.
close to that.
Yeah, yeah,
More.
yeah,
Okay, we can ask Alexa.
yeah. Yeah. Didn't
But
uh, go ahead.
but Todd was up for it. God, I was so excited because he's a location sound engineer, and he's the best in the business because all the post sound guys
Mm,
love mixing what he does because they don't have to redo it or fix it or do the Foley.
mm,
Todd is just so brilliant. Now on that movie, he went to they did 25 locations. That kid wanted to sing in all these different venues. And that was new for Todd because it's live, but it's live music. And he did a phenomenal job making it sound like it came from that era. Phenomenal job. But,
mm,
of course, see, and we say this in theater, the movie that's more popular and technical or just it's that they don't know how to grade sound that's as real as he made it for the Dylan movie. So Dune won the guy who did Dune. They won the Academy Award.
mm.
It's like, and it's just like it just pisses us off because he did such a great job making those locations sound just like those locations.
Yeah,
And there's such an art to that. That's a
Yeah.
very analog human art.
Well, let's get your advice on another aspect that's budgeting. Now we're gonna find the 50 million somewhere, maybe 500 million, but we got to make some cuts somewhere. What are some simple, affordable ways for indie filmmakers to create immersive soundscapes, even without a Hollywood budget? Even though we are going to get a Hollywood budget.
Oh, gee, my chips. There's way of no. I'm just trying to think. Well, it's really the way you're miking things.
Okay.
What I'm saying is by using ambisonic mics that get 360 plus your directional mics, which you're getting the actor. What's interesting about Todd, and I have to say this, bef- I didn't know any movie that used. He called me and I said, "Why, yeah, I would have been your second or third on that movie." He did West Side Story by Spielberg. Spielberg was the first director that asked him, I want everybody mic'd, close mic'd, wireless. We're like
Hmm.
Broadway. We're used to having 35 mics on 35 different actors.
wow.
Usually in film, it's the boom. No,
Mm-hmm.
no. And he's doing another movie, supposedly with him, hint, hint. And everybody's got to be mic'd. And he started doing that. He did a big game that was turned into a movie a couple years ago. I mean, what a budget they had. And they wanted everybody individually mic'd. So, but that's not necessarily needed.
Hmm.
But I'm just saying how that world has changed and changing. So on a budget, though, like I'm saying, what I'm pushing, uh, you see, there's a certain math. It was a Japanese paper. Immersive audio was a Japanese paper from 1968 that talked about how to gather the mic and split it up into doing Dolby Atmos or into doing my chips are based on it too, that do quad, and that's really where the '70s quad came from. But what the engineers that did the chips that I'm involved with them their quad is much different because you don't hear it coming out of the four speakers. You hear it coming out of the space. You feel
Mm,
like you're in the middle of the band recording. Like if you
mm,
put an old jazz band up and play it through my chips, you feel like I'm just saying John Coltrane standing next to you playing the
Wow,
sax. That's what's lovely.
yeah,
There's budgetary ways of
yeah,
saving money where and
yeah,
Dolby Atmos would hate me for this, but you don't need to
yeah.
do one. In fact,
I
I
think
am
of the
doing two.
yeah.
Oh no, well, I have this group, these two singers who've done in Dolby Atmos and opera. Like you're talking about not needing the sound. Well, they feel you don't need the visual. They had an opera recorded, a two-woman experimental opera. Hopefully, we're coming to London, but in January we're doing uh, basically a proof of concept to opera producers at Princeton University, and we're using my chips and we're using other things to and playing and replicating what the Dolby Atmos was doing, but with
Hmm.
much less speakers. So it's done on a budget.
Hmm.
So it's Lucas Rico Corrubia's sound. I'm on a budget because people, need to do it that way. But
Yeah.
people are excited to hear it,
Well,
yeah, I
yeah.
know. I think
When we make this, we're making it in Lucas Rico sound. I'm just putting that
well,
out there for Ian right now. Uh,
cool.
can I
look,
ask you? I'm pretty sure we're getting close to the end of this podcast in terms of time, which is a shame because I could talk to you all.
We could talk for hours, and then we didn't
right.
get to the stories at all.
Ah,
I was gonna say we hadn't got, but go ahead,
Frank,
Ian. Ask your question, then I
I'm
got.
Frank
sorry, Ian.
Sinatra onwards. I mean, before we even started recording, you were talking about Prince and your work with him, and your career has been phenomenal. I, in terms of sound engineers, I only know of it's an area that I'm learning all about. But when we produced the audiobook, we I miraculously was given um, a guy called Jeremy Carroll. Have you come across Jeremy Carroll?
No,
He
is it a
he worked with a lot of
post
rock
film?
bands in the 70s and 80s, and then he
Oh,
decided
okay.
to go off and he basically lives on an island and gets these audio tapes and or audio files and does his magic with them and then sends them back. And he was the sound engineer for the audiobook and he just did a phenomenal job. So I've got a tiny amount of experience with sound engineers so far through him, and I couldn't have told you beforehand that I needed a sound engineer. But when I heard the difference afterwards, my God, it was amazing.
Absolutely.
So,
Oh, awesome.
so that was
It
Jeremy
is.
Carroll, and the other guy that I've remembered is Trevor Horn, who was
I've
this.
heard Trevor Horn.
Trevor
I've
Horn
heard the name. I'm
was
sorry. I
the
don't.
he produced a famous band from the 80s. What the hell were they called? But he had this idea of the wall of sound, and
Uh huh. The
uh,
Wall of Sound. You've heard of that, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, Trevor Horn was
I should
credited
know
with
it.
coming up with it, but it was for
Oh,
what the hell were they called? They had the biggest hit was "Relax, Don't Do It." Do you remember that one?
Oh, Frankie Goes to
you,
Hollywood.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood. There you go.
You can quit. We could do a whole nother podcast, not just an
we could.
episode. I could do a podcast on 80s music. You're talking to the encyclopedia
Oh,
on 80s
yeah.
music,
So
I just
which
wanted.
is embarrassing, actually.
And let me tell you, because I went to college, in the '70s. But I'm aging myself. But I mean, I was around before Soho was Soho. All the artists, and I became one of the visual artists' assistants, but the sound guy. Because now I go visit him now, and I can't believe the way he did immersive sound, which is simple. Let's just say this. I think you should know this. He makes mic trees, let's say of 30 microphones, all right? And
Mm.
he buys them off Amazon. And now he makes 30, and then he goes off to Montauk Bay in Long Island and he records that. But then when he comes home, he's made a speaker tree where the speakers are exactly the same distance as the microphones were from each other. right?
Wow.
When you play that in a room, I mean, he's done this at the Whitney. He's a sound artist. His name is
Mm,
Bob Bilecki, and let's just say he started with John Cage and all those crazy '70s composers, Alvin
mm,
Lucier, and then he forever was Laurie Anderson's designed everything for her. If you ever
mm,
saw her suit, I know she just started a tour because I went with him to watch the rehearsals. She started a tour last year in England. Laurie
mm.
Anderson, are you familiar with her? Right?
Did
But
she
by
do
name.
Superman?
Yeah.
What's that?
Superman? Did she? Was it called Superman? It was.
Yeah.
It basically,
Yes.
it basically went ah. Does that sound like
Yes, she
her?
does. Yeah. And then what about the suit? He built the suit where she taps each part and dances and it's all MIDI to different instruments. That was pretty, he did that in the 80s. That was pretty wild. But yeah,
Could,
but you're right, Superman. I think that was it. It started in Bristol. It's still on tour. And she's just an amazing artist. But to see how he looked at sound, it's so organically. And then, because now everybody's using all these computers, but he could do that and it sound amazing, you know?
so, Rico, looking back at your career, is there a particular show or project that captured the emotional impact of sound better than anything else you've done? What made it work?
Oh my God. For me,
Yes.
well, I have to say, I think it was because of the emotional the time. I mean, it was in the '90s, but it was working. But to me, working with Pete Townsend on the
Oh,
Tommies,
I
Tommy,
bet.
who's Tommy
Yeah.
in New York was that
Yeah.
was just totally emotional for me and
Yeah.
wonderful experience. And with everybody in that show, we're still very close. That
Oh
first
yeah.
cast, that first show, because they tried to do it again 2 years ago, with God bless them, youngsters and whatever,
I
but they didn't do it. This was passionately. Pete was involved every day. It was just quite amazing. It was such a passion piece from his heart, and
yeah.
let's face it, Tommy, and we were there. That to me was
Yeah.
was my greatest experience.
I'm not kidding. By coincidence, yes, I'm putting together a bunch of songs and audiobooks on a MP3 player because I'm about to travel, and so I'm putting together a playlist in case I don't have the internet and I can't stream stuff. And I just downloaded Pinball Wizard yesterday.
Oh, you did? Cool.
Yesterday, yeah, literally. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Um,
Awesome.
you've been involved in storytelling across generations, from Sinatra to MIT's holographic research. Where do you see storytelling and sound going next? What's next?
Wow. That's great. Oh, well, I see it becoming. You know how talked about stereo and I talked about immersive audio with 200 speakers around you.
Mhm.
Where I see it going, the next step is like a hologram. My mates in Australia, I have to say this, didn't tell me there was a setting on their device because somebody had done this with a Roger Waters album, and it became what happened is out of two speakers. And Sony engineers said, "Oh, this is magic and trickery." No, it's math and science coming out of the two speakers. You don't have a big window where you can walk through the whole room, but within a 10 foot to 20 foot radius, you basically are surrounded by the music psychoacoustically. Your mind is totally putting it together.
Hmm.
Without you look over and you go, "There's no speaker there. Why am I
Hmm.
hearing that voice?" I just did this 2 weeks ago. I called them up. I go, "Why didn't you tell me this? I didn't know what TSS stand for." Oh, that's two speakers surround. We just threw that in. These are people who've worked on this for years, and that is based on head related transfer function, which is they basically took a model and they said, okay, well, somebody has a round, bigger head than others, but it's based on your head, the way your ears are. That's what the people do with headsets now. They actually make a model for you. They actually can test by shooting a frequency throughout your ear and then making a profile. So it sounds great for you, and it sounds
Wow.
great for you. You'll have a different profile, and people are doing. But these guys just decided to make this live, and it's called what I said. Uh, uh, head what I say. It's just amazing. Head related transfer function. Head
Wow.
related transfer function is amazing, and to me, it's going to come out to that where the sound's going to come out, and you're going to put it all together without speakers all around you.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
just like I feel at some point you're not going to need the goggles; they're going to jack something in the
Yeah.
back of your head, right? That's the way I feel. I
well,
feel it's moving that way.
well, as we wind down here, you Rico, I didn't mention this earlier because I felt that this would be that this would wind up being a distraction, and we would go so far down this path that we might lose the stuff that we've been talking about. But I don't want to ignore it either. You've been at the heart of live sound for decades, designing systems, mixing for legends, literally helping shape what audiences hear and feel. But I got to pause and talk about something that if someone's watching this, I would imagine they've noticed. And it blows my mind that at some point in your journey, I think it was from open heart surgery, or that you experienced a major personal and physical loss. Can you tell us just a little bit about what happened, and whatever you're comfortable sharing about? And you lost your fingertips and feet. Is that,
Well, I
do
wish
I
I
have that?
wish it was just my fingertips, so you can see my right hand.
Mm-hmm.
But with the medicine they used to bring me back to life,
Mm-hmm.
your dominant side, and I'm lefty, so I have much more. So I drive and
Mm-hmm.
everything, but I miss. I mean, mixing was my art, and then I have size 6 feet. This doctor, lovely. They thought I was going to lose right below the knee. He said we waited and waited until it healed enough, and I have size 6 little beanie bags. I mean, the front they had to chop my feet in half to
Mm-hmm.
get rid of the necroses, and I just unfortunately all I can say is that just one day, because this is what my doctor said to say legally, is that my blood level dropped for some reason that we can't go into, that that it wasn't conducive with life. And that is a medical term.
Right.
My blood level dropped one day, and my blood level wasn't conducive for life. So I passed away for 40 minutes, but they brought me back and they made sure there wasn't more brain damage than there normally is. And it was quite a journey for 2 years to come back to where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And now, because of the new digital boards and everything, I can mix by touching.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning. I still need someone with hands to help me, but I got, knock on wood, these are still there perfectly. Even at my age,
So
I test them all the time. Yes, I've been
you
mixing.
can
I've been
still
mixing.
work. Okay.
Yes, no. Now I can. Yeah,
Great.
I was afraid to mix, but my sales job that you mentioned, that's no more. Sales is not for me. The real art is for me. I did
Yeah.
that out of being stayed with that because of the paranoia of not having hands. And they were
Mm.
nice enough to keep me. And then I just decided last year, no, I need to do sound again. And now I'm getting
Mm.
designs, and that's exactly what I want to do is and bring to tell you the truth, bring that next step closer because we
Mm.
haven't talked about even the technology of speakers. I'm not working with conventional speakers at all. I'm working with a whole different technology
Mm.
that emanates sound called electrostatic. Just remember, they've been around.
Mm.
Electrostatic speakers. My Australian friends made them very popular and affordable.
Mm.
So
That,
the way they make sound is amazing. So that's well, I'll keep it because I
yeah.
know
Well.
you won't go.
Well. No. 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 Not at all. Are you able? Do you have any? I work with AI a lot, and I've even gotten to where I use the audio function, so I talk to it instead of typing it out. Do you
Oh,
use? Yeah. I'll just ask like, whatever. Instead of typing a prompt, I'll just speak a prompt, and it'll do what I need it to do. And have you started experimenting with stuff like that
yes.
yet?
No, no, that very good. Thank you. No, that just recently, like last week, because my son's whole job is predicated on using AI to help
Mm,
him in his medical research. And
mm,
I can't believe what a great, it scares me. Let's face it, scares us all.
mm,
But, it's not sentient yet. But in terms of information and
mm.
everything else, it's uncanny.
Yeah,
Um,
It is
it
uncanny,
really
uh,
and I'm
is.
not sure that you're right anymore. I've heard some rumors about sentient. Uh,
no, stop.
yeah, I heard that. I maybe about 3 years ago, some Google engineers got to a point where they really frightened themselves working with a system up in, I think, Seattle. But
Really?
yeah, so and
Wow.
we don't really know why the brain works in the first place. The brain is just billions of neurons that connect, and that looks after your subconscious, your muscles, your nerves, your heartbeat, and everything else. That's all controlled by the subconscious brain, but the conscious sits on top of that, and we don't understand what that is. We don't understand how that works at all.
No.
So
No.
what else is out there that's got billions of little things that connect with each other? The internet, computers, the internet, the star system in the sky, all these things connect, and consciousness could be there. We just don't know. And I think that if we haven't yet got sentient beings within computers, I think it's very close. And I suspect that that's what's happened with Google a couple of years back.
Wow. Now,
Well,
can I, one last thing about the
please.
holographic theory that almost explains is like a universal theory. Because what happened was everybody said when uh, Steve Hawkins died, go Rico, you were on to something. I mean, my nickname. And I looked at what he said. If you look at his last words, what Stephen Hawking said about holography, he said, "I missed it. The universe is a hologram."
Hmm.
Because if I took a snapshot of you right now, and I took it and teared it up, and I printed it and teared it up in 1,000 pieces, I would see a little piece of your ear. I would see, what the pieces I torn up. I'd see the parts. When you
Hmm.
do a hologram, a real hologram, and I took it, and usually it's etched on a glass plate at this juncture. That's the medium, and I broke it into 1,000 pieces. If I hold up one piece, I see all of you, every single piece. All parts contain the whole.
Hmm.
I rest my case. Do you
Wow.
understand? And so holographic theory started becoming, physicists and psychologists were really studying it. All parts contain the whole,
Hmm.
like they say in some,
Well,
spiritual beliefs, like Buddhism.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
well,
parts contain all. But that's for
it's
real.
it's fascinating stuff, and wow, we covered a
Well,
pretty
I'm sorry I went out
wide
there. I had to
spectrum.
go out there.
Well, no, it's okay. I mean, we could. I know that you have 1,000 stories. We could have 1,000 episodes just with
We
Rico
should.
here.
Well, and then we have to, what do you say? Rate them. They got R rated.
Yeah,
It's
well, that.
a general audience. Okay, kids. Okay.
Yeah, well, I have to say I should have you on my other podcast then, because
I
there's
mean,
there's no restrictions over there. Yeah,
it
And I
really
wish,
has
and
been.
God bless.
It really has been a phenomenal conversation. I, anybody listening to this will realize that we are simply there's I don't know how many different subjects, and we've just scratched the surface of each of them as we've gone
right.
along. It's been
Yeah.
phenomenal,
Well, thank you.
Rico.
Thank
I
you. And it's
Thank
loved it.
been
Thank you so
great. You
much.
guys have the greatest spirit, and I pray for you. And, you can sidebar with me about where to go, who to talk to
Look,
about your movie budget,
we've already signed. I don't think you've realized this, but we've already signed you up as the sound guy. You're going to get Michael Gracie to direct a couple of episodes.
You,
You're in
oh,
this more. You're in this more than you think, Rico.
Yeah.
I'm going to get Michael Gracie. I will call. When you tell me when this is, I will call him. Don't worry about it.
There
Well,
you
we've
go.
got the
Uh,
treatment ready. So if you'd like us to, if you pass it on to Michael Gracie and see what he thinks, we'd love you to do that. I mean,
okay.
it's not a long document, and it gives you a very good feel for what we've got.
Awesome. Awesome.
But
I'm honored. Thank you.
Well, I
no,
can't thank you
we're
enough.
honored. I'm honored
Yeah,
anyway, and
Oh,
I'm not going to speak for Mark,
absolutely.
but
Well,
it's
I
fantastic. Thank you so
absolutely,
much.
and I thank you for your time. I'm just trying to keep us
thank you,
at the hour
Mark.
I
mark. Thanks, guys. So
Okay.
see you next time.
can I just
Right.
finish on this?
Hugs and kisses.
Yeah,
My mother is
hang out, Rico, afterwards.
97, and she fell over really badly 3 weeks ago, and the doctor basically were telling me to expect the worst. She's up and about, and she's in hospital, but she's only in hospital because we're waiting to move her into a care home. Uh, she has got all the doctors and nurses charmed. They just love her. She's got this beaming smile, and just it doesn't matter how bad it is for my mother. It could have been worse. It's always, it could have been worse. And she just smiles through it all. And I'm telling you, Rico, you know, I can't give you a greater compliment than this. You
Oh
remind me of
no.
my mother.
Oh God, you
You have
can't.
the
Oh, please stop.
you have the
Oh,
charm of a
You are
97-year-old Scottish
it's
woman.
shining out of you. It's fantastic. You've got real
oh,
spirit, and I salute you.
that is legendary.
There,
Thank you.
there you
No,
go.
that's wonderful. No,
We
this has
will.
been a wonderful hour. I've loved it. You kept
Me
me
too.
so excited. Thank you.
To find out more about the book, visit tjswar.com. And to buy it, click on the Amazon link below. So follow us, join us as we create TJ's War, the $50 million TV series.
This is a message for Quinn, who's going to cut this
Sorry.
episode. No, that's okay. Quinn, when you cut this, please use that little clip of Ian going Put it at the beginning. Put it at the beginning. Let that be the
That's
intro.
great.
I want that
That
to
should
be
keep
the
coming back.
yeah.
That should keep
Yes.
coming back in it. I like
Just
that.
put that as the intro, Quinn. That leads us into the episode.
And when you think of me, you make that noise, that sound, that
That's
sound art. That's beautiful.
forever embedded in my brain now.